Hi guys, it's Tamra, the Judeo-Christian medium. As you can see from the title, I am trying to do a 2024 psychic read, forecast, energy read. And I'm telling you guys, I've been trying to do this for a while. I know some of you have emailed me, you haven't seen me on, and I have an explanation. Excuse me, I can't tell you all right now. I will tell you in the future, but I wasn't able to physically come on. I wanted to come on in December, and it's crazy because some of the things that I was told, as many of you know, if you've been paying attention to what's going on, like all of these crazy things happened. Definitely within the first week of January, but since. And if you guys would like, my team is saying, I've said this before, to go back, check out my 2020 psychic read, 2021, 2022, 2023, and now 2024, because it's all valid. My team has told me that not everything that they've said was going to happen has happened, but most of it has. And I hope there are at least some of you out there who took caution with what I said, and also the positive things that I said, and hopefully it helped you. The messages helped me a lot. In fact, my team is saying that due to all of this spiritual warfare, that, I don't want to be dramatic, but it has saved me, and they want this information to save you, and not to be like a doomsdayer. It's not like that. It's just as a guide. And what they're hoping to do through me with these messages is guide you so that you can, that's corny, they're talking to me, so you can like live your best life. That is so corny. And also prevent calamity. Sorry, I am dramatic. It's just, it feels like a dramatic day too. Someday I can't wait to tell you guys everything that has happened. And some of it is going to sound bad, and it is, but it's spiritual warfare. I've had some things happen, and then immediately amazing things happened after. And I don't use that word a lot, amazing. I know it's overused, but miraculous things have happened to me after something like crazy has happened to me. But I will tell you all these stories at another time. I am here now. It's Sunday, January 14th. So late into the year. I mean, guys, it's January 14th, and it feels like 2024 has already been, and I never feel this way. It feels like it's already been like 3 months with everything that's happened. Everything is just moving at this rapid pace. But forgive me, I'm here now. Many of you might have already heard these messages, and I hope you have. I can't bring every message forward. I tried writing down. This is a mixture of what Spirit, Jesus, my team has told me, and shown me. Now they show me things like movies. They show me things happening. I don't even really watch movies anymore because they show me things, and I try to put them into words to tell you guys. So if you're new to my channel, like I said, my name is Tamra. I'm a Judeo-Christian medium. That means I'm Jewish and Christian. You can check out my About section if you would like to know further what that means. I'm going to make more videos about that, and I have made videos about that. A lot of it traces back to past lives and my current DNA and my lineage. So I will explain that further. One thing I do want to say is I'm going to be making videos about each religion, and I'm going to be telling you about each religion. Jesus has talked to me about each religion. So it's a very sensitive time. When I say that I'm Jewish and Christian, it's a personal thing. It doesn't mean that Jesus is criticizing or I'm criticizing the other religions. This just is, it's what Jesus is, it's what I am, and it requires a lot of explanation, which will be done in other videos. So, and they're saying, yeah, the disciples were Jewish and Christian, which I have a connection to. Okay. Before we get started, I would like to pray to my team. And also, I want to let you know why I'm wearing a navy sweatshirt. I am part of the Galactic Federation. Many of you have heard of that. Many of you know what that is. It is a federation of light workers, of archangels, of starseeds, Pleiadians, Arcturians, and tall whites, which make up my team. And just to give you a general idea, they are a group of starseeds who fight spiritual warfare. Many of you can feel that we are at spiritual warfare, and we are. We always have been. You can see a lot of mediums are coming forward now because Jesus feels that it's time. We have the technology, and we all need these messages. So I'm in New York, so you're gonna hear honks and beeps, and it's Sunday night, so hopefully we won't hear too many crazy things. The energy is actually pretty nice and calm, especially compared to the energy of the past 2 weeks. I don't know if you guys have felt it. I mean, it just, this year just came in like a punch. But I'm feeling surprisingly a little bit calmer tonight. And it's January 14th, so it's been crazy 2 weeks, and we're coming out of the holidays, coming out of the last year's energy, and sorry, they're talking to me. Okay, they want me to get on with it. Mercury retrograde. So we're coming out of that. And when we have big energies like that, there likes to be it likes to have like one final hit before it's like the storm before the calm, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's pray. You guys feel free to pray along with me. I'm gonna pray to my team. They're already here, but I just want to thank them. I've done other videos about them. If you guys are new to my channel, check out my playlist, check out my lives. I explain so much more about this. But anyway, the way that I like to pray is to thank my team. And they've all narrowed themselves down to one word. And this is how they come to me. They may come to you or through other spiritual people in different ways. They are multifaceted. Sorry, I'm closing my eyes, but I'm connecting to them. They chose one word in order to connect with me, and this is how they're helping me. So I would like to thank God. God's energy is indescribable. You all who have had near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences, I'm sure you can relate to this, but I would like to thank God for life. God comes to me from my upper right. It's very white, and I'm going to make an animated version of this. He comes down and connects through Jesus, who is white, silver, gold, and indigo. And I'd like to thank Jesus for peace. Jesus, his energy, this is all energy. It's colors, it's energy. Sometimes they show their face to me as I know them, or as I've known them in other lifetimes too. So it's a real hodgepodge here, but Jesus connects over to Mother Mary, who sits at my right hand shoulder. And it's the light connects to Mother Mary. Jesus is white, silver, gold, and very indigo. And he comes over and connects to Mother Mary, who is the same colors, but more indigo. And her energy, thank you, Mother Mary, thank you for comfort. Her energy comes over here and connects to Father Joseph. As it connects over, Father Joseph has been showing himself as brown lately. And I think he's just trying to say that he's very earthly. They speak in different languages to me too. Colors mean things. Thank you, Father Joseph. Thank you for stability. And he's all the colors, they are too, but he really, is it verberate? He's very white. Is he and brown, but he's also all of their colors too. And he connects over to Archangel Michael, and then behind Michael to the tall whites. This connection's very fatherly. Thank you, Archangel Michael. Thank you for protection. And I really want to thank Archangel Michael this week. The miracle was, I can't really explain, but thank you, Archangel Michael, for protection. Michael, his energy is also like white, silver, gold, but incredibly big indigo. Archangel Michael connects over to Archangel Metatron. And thank you, Archangel Metatron. Thank you for entertainment. Now, Archangel Metatron is all of these warm colors: red, orange, yellow. Archangel Metatron loves horns. That's how he connects to me sometimes. He's going like the clown horn nose. Archangel Michael connects over to Archangel Eric Medhus. I'd like to thank Archangel Eric Medhus for communication. Archangel Eric Medhus is very indigo, and indigo is, you know, very Pleiadian. So also, as the energy comes in, it's not just colors and energy, it's also representations of this whole group are Pleiadians, Arcturians, and tall whites. The tall whites are over on the right hand side as we go into Pleiadians, and the Arcturians are more on the left, but this whole group is Pleiadian, Arcturian, and tall white, and I've explained that in other videos. So moving along, Archangel Eric Medhus is also, he is branched off on his own. He did this with his passing so he could communicate. He's saying he communicates. He's there to communicate with mediums. He will talk to you. He likes to be a bridge of this group and famous starseeds who have passed. And he's a messenger of God also. But moving along, thank you, Archangel Eric, for communication. We have Archangel Gabriel, so they connect. Archangel Gabriel is very red. I'd like to thank Archangel Gabriel for acceptance. It's really hard for me to move on. I just want to talk to all of them. So Archangel Gabriel stretches out his energy and connects over to, now we're back on the tall white side, connects over to Archangel Sandalphon. And I'd like to thank Archangel Sandalphon for intelligence. And I just want to let you all know this swirl goes around and then out. And they said it goes down, the energy goes down to earth. So incredibly high dimensions, but it comes down from God to the 12th dimension, going down with the Pleiadians, Arcturians, and tall whites, going down to the 7th dimension. And it's like a rainbow connecting to earth. And just to, every time I do these videos, I give you all a little bit more information. So you all know for everything there's an opposite. So there is a dark reptilian energy that hangs out in the 4th dimension, and it connects down to its reptilians, and I will explain that in another video. But moving on, so I'd like to thank you, Archangel Sandalphon, who's very white. Thank you for intelligence. Archangel Sandalphon connects to Archangel Raphael. Archangel Raphael is going to be a really big figure in this reading. Thank you, Archangel Raphael. Thank you for healing. So now, another piece of information I'd like to pass on to you all, especially if you're into numerology. starting with Jesus at 1, even though many of you know Jesus as 33 or 3. His life path was 33, but many of you know him as a 3, which is he is the Trinity, the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. It's Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. So, but his number is also 1, as God connects to him. He is a messenger of God. He's number 1. So we'll go through the numbers. When we get to Archangel Raphael, Archangel Raphael is the number 8. And it is a numerology year of number 8. And so they've just explained this to me, that this year, you can look up numerology, what a year number 8 means, to let you all know that my own personal numerology, this is an 8 year for me. So they're saying this is going to be a really big year for me. So it's my 8 year, and they're just teaching me about this. It's my 8 year, and it is an 8 year. And they're explaining that this year is an Archangel Raphael year. And Archangel Raphael, I would like to thank you for healing. Many of you know Archangel Raphael is known as a healer, and I'm going to do a whole video on him, and I've talked about him in the past. So this is a healing year, and we'll get more into that with the notes that I've taken. Archangel Raphael connects over to Archangel Azrael. And so now we're going through the colors of the rainbow. Now we're getting over, it's like white, silver, gold. Archangel Raphael vibrates at a high, he's violet, which we'll get into more in the reading. So Archangel Raphael connects over to Archangel Azrael, who is also white, gold, silver, violet, and he's going into indigo. And you can see from the description, they sit behind Michael, so they're like an energy, and they're together and separate. So thank you, Archangel Azrael, for organization. So guys, when you're doing your taxes, when you're doing all of this nitty-gritty business stuff, pray to Archangel Azrael for organization. Thank you, Archangel Azrael, for organization. Archangel Azrael connects over to Archangel Jophiel, who's very like white, gold, silver, sparkly, she's got a little bit of indigo, a little bit of violet too, but she's pulsating. She's mostly silver. Thank you, Archangel Jophiel. Thank you for magical beauty. And Archangel Jophiel connects over to Archangel Uriel, which is me. Thank you, Archangel Uriel. Distracted by the siren. Thank you for my mission. So, as you can all see, I am also a messenger of God through Jesus and my team. So I'm a messenger, but my mission is to help others with their mission. So Archangel Uriel is very indigo, as you can see. White, violet, indigo. I wonder if any readers, I know many people can read auras. I've been told that my aura is that color from other psychics, but if you see it, let me know. Thank you, Archangel Uriel. Moving on, Archangel Uriel connects to Archangel Zadkiel, which comes in as very green. Thank you, Archangel Zadkiel, for balance. Zadkiel connects over to, now we're back on my left-hand side, which is Metatron's territory, and he branches out to Zadkiel, who connects to Jeremiah. Jeremiah is coming in very yellow. Thank you, Jeremiah, for wildness. Jeremiah, thank you, Jeremiah. Jeremiah connects to Raguel, who's very red and orange. Thank you, Raguel, for swagger. Raguel connects over to Chamuel, who's coming in as a very light blue, and like a little bit of kind of gray, just muted. Thank you, Archangel Chamuel. Thank you for calm. Archangel Chamuel connects over to Archangel Ezekiel, who's coming in today as very yellow with a little bit of orange, like a harvesty color. Thank you, Archangel Ezekiel. Thank you for nutrition. Archangel Ezekiel connects over to Archangel Haniel. Archangel Haniel is coming in as very pink. Thank you, Archangel Haniel, for sleep. Archangel Haniel connects over to Archangel Daniel. And thank you, Archangel Daniel, for humor. And Archangel Daniel's coming in today. He's coming in as red and green. Thank you. So that's the best explanation I can give now. You know, there's a lot to say, but I would like to thank my team, thank the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, and the Tall Whites. Thank you all. Please protect this reading. Please help me. You all, I'm very tired. I don't know if you can tell, but they're actually giving me energy, and I really appreciate it. And let's get on with the read. Like I said, this is an 8-year, which represents Archangel Raphael, which is a very healing year. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to be calm. Healing can be surgery. Healing can be separation. So keep this in mind. It's a very good year to take care of your health, wellness, exercise, get checkups, check up your safety. Like I said, the color is purple, violet. So the colors this year, just to let you all know, these archangels influence our fashion. They talk to our star seeds here, and they influence the colors we wear. So this year is going to be all shades of purple, lavender. So that is lucky to wear, and also will most likely be in style. So lavender, blue, indigo, silver, gold, and white. So we might be seeing more metallic shoes. So you guys get it. Very bright colors. So quiet will be favored this year, and they would like you to save your breath. So don't over explain things to people. What is also favored this year are prayer groups, healing groups, starseed groups. It's really favored. And you'll also see, because of some of my readings from the past of the drama, this is like an anecdote to the drama. They're just showing me places like, I'm in New York, but they're showing me more places like in, like around Lake Tahoe, people getting together and stargazing and looking for ships. I will do videos on each group, and disclosure, UFOs, spaceships. We can see that the government is starting to disclose these events, and my team would like me to do a video. So I'm just going to tell you all the basics. The Pleiadians, Arcturians, tall whites, and reptilians all have their own ships, all for different purposes. So they're saying, if you could get together a group that are starseeds and stargaze, that you all might see them together, and that would be very validating. I know some of you have seen ships. I know it. I have. I will also make videos about my experiences. So, I just mentioned, if you're new to my channel, I just mentioned reptilians, Pleiadians, tall whites, and Arcturians. It's a very basic explanation of what they told me, is that when God created humanity, he got together with beings that were already living, and this is the best way for me to explain it. The reptilians, who are from Mars, the Arcturians from Arcturus, along with the tall whites, and the Pleiadians from the Pleiades. And they've kind of, mixed it up there, but that's how humanity was created. And they've grouped together. They help. As I said before, we are in spiritual warfare. There's so much going on with them and us, and it's a feedback loop, and I've explained some of it before. I will make more videos about it. Let's get back to the notes. So yeah, okay, if you do go UFO gazing, looking for ships, they'd like you to take notes, pictures, write about it. That's a message that might be helpful. That might help some of you with your next step and what you're interested in. They would like you to find your unique gift this year. Try not to copy anyone else. You can be inspired by other people. If you are inspired by others, and you take inspiration from them, a very high vibrating energy is to give credit. So give that energy, entity, person, if they're alive, you know, or it's a celebrity who's passed, give them credit. And they're saying, I went a little bit tangential there. Definitely, if the person is alive now, Jesus would like you to, he's talking to me, he would like you to please respect people who are alive now. Many of you are into mediumship, you watch channels like mine, you get very into celebrity, and of course we have a fire truck. You get into celebrity readings, but they would really like you to respect and give credit to your equals, your contemporaries, people who are helping you, especially if you're inspired by them, and you know, if you're taking things from them, learning from them. You can watch some of my older videos. I will do this in the future, but I made a video and I gave a video of other people to watch. So Jesus is saying something like that is great, and that needs to be done more, because none of us can be the, like, they're giving me all kinds of explanations at the same time. Like, they're like, fulfill the shoes, do it all. Da, 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 da. So I'm trying to whittle it down to like one. They love expressions. They love, because they get so excited to talk. So not one of us can give you all of the information. So take it upon yourself to, and yes, they're saying some of us get detained. So they're saying they're giving a lot of good information to people. Okay, so other people too. If you choose to just copy someone, I can't remember, it's like 10 to 12 or more people, they said, are copying me. And I would love to go through each person, not giving names, but try to tell them what they actually should be doing. But that will be another video. So if you choose, we've seen, they're saying plagiarism. We've seen what has recently happened with the president of Harvard and her plagiarizing. You all might think, hey, that's no big deal. People take from each other. Yes, they do. But when you're presenting yourself as something, as like I'm presenting myself, I'm a medium, I'm a messenger, I help people with their mission. So if I was just to copy from other people, the way Jesus explained it to me is you will be miserable. You will be off track. Because you're not being yourself, even if it's something that you're very interested in. So I've told you all before, many celebrities, musicians, artists, You know, I've said like they're mediums, and that is true, but not in the same sense as myself, as Jesus was, as like a true messenger. They are giving messages through their art. They're connecting. This team gives messages all the time, gives assistance, but that doesn't mean that you should come out yourself as a medium or a tarot reader, for many reasons. It's hard to fully explain it, but you have to figure out if that is your actual mission, or if you're a reptilian, if that is your life path. It's not a common mission. So just putting that out there. I'll make other videos explaining that. My team would like to say many of you are hearing us, and that's great. You are seeing, feeling, and hearing our messages and acting on them. And I put like little hearts. This is a good year to, they're saying, choose the lesser option. One, for example, 1 scoop of ice cream instead of 2. Indulgence is not favored this year. Be very cautious with substances, and they're pointing out the substance ketamine. As you can see, there was a recent ketamine overdose. With Matthew Perry, but that's a whole video for another day. That needs explanation. He really wants to explain what happened, but be very careful, you know, with the obvious horrifying drugs that you never want to touch, like fentanyl, but be very careful with prescription drugs or drugs that seem healthy. Be careful with ketamine, like I said, sleeping medication, vitamins. Overdoing things will not be favored this year. They would like you to reacquaint yourself with the basics of fitness, things like heart rate, serving sizes, serving volume, sleep, how much sleep you're getting, and all of your senses. Go back to the basics. This fitness craze has been around and grown for many years, but they're saying it can get off track, and if you hear things enough times, you could think it's true. But they would like you to go back to the basics of fitness, stretching, using, you know, the machines that were made in the gym by physiologists and scientists together with engineers to, you know, work the proper body parts. They want you to give credit to people who came before us and taught us the basics. So, you know, you might want to just look back at older information. Archangel Raphael is saying many of you would, well, many people, because saying a lot of, you know, sometimes reptilians are a little hardier and they can really overdo it, but they're saying to try to avoid these trends. They're showing me people doing sit-ups with weights, people either overdoing the cardio or overdoing the weightlifting. Just please be careful this year. And they're saying that this will help you even out your energy too, to have a more continual fitness regime that you can continue to do. That's if you don't overexert yourself, if you don't do too much, then you'll end up doing more and sticking with it. So they're saying many star seeds have been incredibly stressed out, especially since 2020. And many of you have been so anxious that you've let your fitness just go to the wayside. And fitness has become trendy. It's like extreme fitness, you know, with gym rats and people showing off, and it's gotten a bad rap, and they'd like you to not let that dissuade you from taking care of yourself. And they're saying this is just when they're going back to when I first said we're at spiritual warfare. And one of the big components of spiritual warfare is something that started out good, positive, like fitness, certain political parties, movements, BLM, for example. These things started out with many people on a positive note. Started out to protect others, to have a positive effect on others. But almost everything will be invaded by dark reptilian energy. That's where the spiritual warfare comes in that people talk about. And that's why you have to, I know it's tiring, and I'm trying to help you all, as with other readers, healers, help you work this out, because it is tiring to like monitor everything. But Jesus is saying you've got to live in a gray area. We live in a very black and white time. And if you think in black and white, it's not true. And that's not a good place to live, is in untruth. So the truth lies in gray areas. You know, in the United States, we have the Republicans and the Democrats, and Jesus has told me the truth is in the middle. And you know, many things that started off good have gone south. So I'll explain that more in other videos. Because this is a healing year and we've been coming into healing, many of you can feel it. Many of you are healing, but that means the dark reptilian energy, some people call it toxic, some people call it narcissistic, some people call it the devil. That dark reptilian energy gets inflamed when people start healing. It's an energy of control. So many of you know about, I can put into other words like a narcissist, empath, dance. What is the narcissist trying to do? Control the empath. What is the dark reptilian energy trying to do? Control humanity. So Sometimes it feels like one step forward, two steps back. People are healing, and then the crazy gets crazier. I've been saying this for years. Others have been saying this for years, and now we're seeing it. We are seeing people out on the street trying to one-up each other with their craziness. Outfits are getting so out of control that people are practically naked. People are wearing thongs under see-through skirts in city streets. That's part of the craziness we're talking about. But you've seen all of the other craziness that I was told in 2020. I actually, one of the reasons I started doing this I would just be talking to people and I would start to see these visions. I'm like seeing these visions of people driving with firearms sticking out of their car, and I'm like, oh my God, explosions and fires and earthquakes, and that's the dark reptilian energy trying to get its comeuppance, its attention. It's also, it's not black and white. There is an element of global warming that's happening, and an element of tectonic shifting, the plates. So this is just a combination of spiritual warfare, global warming, and just earth shifting. So it's a cacophony. I think I just like went cross-eyed. Yeah, they're showing me a cacophony of energy, which we've just seen in the first week. They were telling me things, and I'm like, I couldn't physically get on, and then they were telling me these crazy things happening, like these tidal waves and fires and explosions. And, I've talked about this in other videos, but I wanted to get on here, but I physically couldn't. So now that I'm getting wacky, they're saying to stay calm, because you're going to see a lot of craziness, a lot of fighting, temper tantrums, sabotage, and they've showed it to me like I explained the energies of this circle. There are energies of groups that are working separately and sometimes together, and it's very dangerous. There is a gang energy, in the United States, and the tentacles are even spreading out. They're spreading out and combining with other groups in other countries. And they're coming up with these like sabotage ideas on the internet. So if you're a sleuth, if you are concerned about this and you see that pattern, by all means, investigate that. If you're looking for something new to do, go undercover, become part of this internet group, and see what these games are. There's one that I was told about that actually didn't happen. Thank you. They're always stopping this. They can see what's going on, and they do their best. And rarely do they manifest physically to stop something. They're talking to us. So me talking to you is part of them protecting. But as more people are raising their vibrations, as more star seeds are connecting to them, and this is where everyone can connect with them in clarification of not everyone's a medium, but everyone can connect, everyone can hear messages, everyone should pray. Everyone should try to, talk to your ancestors who watch over you. Jesus says if you don't know who to pray to, if you're not feeling it, just pray to Jesus. He will connect you. Archangel Eric Medhus will connect you to people on the other side. Pray to them. I've had many of my subscribers, this has been successful for them, very successful. So they told me about an internet event that was supposed to happen on New Year's. So it was New Year's, last year was 2022. It was New Year's 2021 going into 2022. And they told me not to tell you all because they were stopping this. There was and how do I put it? There was talk of gangs of people all around the country. They're showing me saying this old movie, Gangs of New York, where they stormed the castle. And I think I've mentioned storm the castle before for people to protect their home, but they wanted to take over buildings. And you have to understand, many of these people in gangs are on some very strong substances. So they felt very emboldened, very empowered at that time. And they decided against it. They decided it was too hard and went into more of the retail crime. But that was an idea that they were doing it on a smaller scale, like watching people's homes, watching buildings, but they were going to do it like Blazal, like run into buildings, take over the concierge, try to bust down doors and things like that. And that was stopped. But yes, and a way that if you did want to track that sort of you could go undercover and track that sort of stuff. I'm on a crime app, and I come across as like a dude, a guy, and I get told so much stuff because, and I get a lot of more respect than I use my name, and even my, I make comments from my channel on YouTube, and I can't tell you all the details, but I'm on this one app that just tracks crime, and I come across as male, and all these people want to be my friend, and they like all my stuff. It's crazy. But anyway, that there's got to be one person out there who's that message is for, that maybe you could do some sort of undercover stuff. So there are patterns of strange violence. It's going to get weirder. People are trying to get as depraved as possible, like getting influenced from old movies that are depraved, like people wearing weird masks. I remember there was a movie, they're showing me this movie of young people driving around with weapons and masks, and they're saying now that that's a popular, all these creepy things. It's a vibe. So just like many of you are high vibing and have been for years, there are just low vibing people that are connecting to dark reptilian energy, and it's connecting to these old creepy movies. And it's a feedback loop. Like they're getting ideas on how to, you know, commit crimes in weird ways. And there's showing off amongst these groups and how depraved that they can be. We've seen it all over the world. We've seen it, yeah, they're saying United States, but what we saw October 7th, the depravity, we've always had war. That was depravity. That was what they told me. And it's awful. Like, I'm having a hard time telling you all, but it's actually happening. Like they're one-upping the darkness, like extreme depravity, guys, like babies, corpses. This is, you know, I'm sure many of you have thought we're past this in society, but it's not just that one group on October 7th. It's, you know, they're showing me opening the gates of HE double hockey sticks. I hate to be a fear monger because there's so much good in this year. Sorry guys. Anyway, I have to tell you all because I feel terrible. I even feel terrible coming on the 14th that some of this stuff has already happened. Especially we'll get into the weather. So I said patterns of strange violence, abductions, assaults, and especially it's going into areas, and I've said this before, where people feel very safe: school, church, you know, farmers markets, amusement parks, any mass events. We've seen parades, and they're showing me this energy that started in 2020, which my team likes to call Year of the Victim, where everybody was fighting over who was the biggest victim. And this isn't just, you know, people make fun of the woke crowd. It's not just them. They're saying, like, this was huge, where agencies, which are supposed to be incredibly professional, agencies, people were fighting over generations of who are the biggest victims. So that energy carried over from 2020. And Jesus said there weren't many adults around. So for those of you that remained an adult, and for those of you who took the warnings, the messages, the energy seriously, and put yourself into a safe space, Jesus is saying many of you might feel tired and or bored, and they're sorry about that. That's like, many of you are saying, oh, is this my reward for being safe? I'm safe, but I'm bored. I'm exhausted from all this maneuvering. They're saying hang tight. Try to find some fun. It might not be the expansive, big fun that you had before all of this drama. And it didn't just start in 2020, you know, they've shown me events that have brought this, open the floodgates for the dark reptilian energy to come through. Many of you know of these events: JFK, Martin Luther King, 2008, 9/11. So, try to find some fun, get creative. They're saying some ideas that might sound weird to you, but might actually work for you. Just think about it. Maybe a country club. And that might sound crazy to all you spiritual people, but that might be a place to go. And, you know, even if you don't drink, go sit, talk to other people. Just because you're spiritual, you might connect to someone who's successful in another area. They're saying just think about it. It's a unique message. They're saying just try to bring back some sort of socializing with people you trust. They're showing me like a sewing circle, playing cards, going out on a boat. Like they're really showing me these like 1950s images, which may be more to come, but many of you are trendsetters, being so spiritual. Maybe you could start something like this, or thinking about if you would like something like this. They're just showing me good, clean fun. You know, finding some place to dress nicely, to socialize, maybe having a picnic. They're saying, you know, back in the days when there have been many times in history where people didn't feel safe or didn't have a lot of extra money, and that's where they had block parties and, you know, country clubs that weren't outrageously priced. You know, you could start something, having a bunch of people get together and go on a boat, or you know, playing cards at a campground, like they showed me before, stargazing. You know, you could have a group where you all do tarot and just talk, maybe have a glass of wine, whatever it is you like, have coffee, tea. So they're saying, please, you know, be creative and be aware of what's going on, but also it doesn't have to be your own personal existence, which can be, removing yourself from drama can be boring. So it's like many of you are thinking like, it seems like it's just drama or boring. And so these are just ideas so that you could be safe and not bored. But be very careful. These gang tentacles, gangs are joining each other and it's spreading, and groups are banding together. So there's just more of it, and they're showing me like BLM banding together with not the Palestinian people, but I don't know if I could say this word, terrorist organizations, like yeah, the tentacles are spreading. So yeah, safe and bored, or unsafe and fearful. They apologize if you are feeling either of those things, and they're just trying to help you get out of that. But just many more areas of the world are unsafe, unfortunately. And they're just showing these groups, corruption in certain government groups, certain entertainment groups, some bureaucracy, lack of scruples. It's all just kind of, yeah. It's like a stew, and they're saying they're trying to prevent this and asking you and me to help. There's too much dark reptilian energy right now. And they're saying there's too many people not doing what their mission or their life path is. There's a crabs in the bucket mentality. There's an anti-hero worship. There's an emperor's new clothes idea where they're saying people that other people are worshiping are, dark reptilian, and saying and doing things that are normally people would consider not good, but because of who they are, they're accepting it. They'll just throw out like Taylor Swift, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and they're saying, this is the dark reptilian energy behind this, and these are, very big people, but this could be in everyday life, is you'll know the dark reptilian energy from people who they want power, but they don't want the responsibility that comes with it. So, many people have made jokes or said to me like, hey, what about reptilians? They want to be in charge. This is just not dark reptilians, but just reptilians. There's been a big push for reptilians to be in charge. And you can look on my community page on YouTube. You can go to Instagram, and I list all these current popular people and what they are, if they're Pleiadian, Arcturian, reptilian, dark reptilian, and I've listed so many reptilians who unfortunately did make their way into power, but they actually don't want to do what is required of them to be in power. And so with that, I say that's why I put that. That's why I tell you all that. I'm not trying to pick on reptilians. If you'd like to look at my videos explaining what does it mean to be a reptilian, what does it mean to be a starseed, you can watch those videos, and I'm going to go further with it. But that's a big thing that we can't forget. It's not about picking on reptilians. Many of us starseeds have tried our whole lives to be reptilian. So if you're reptilian and you're watching this, please be proud. Not dark reptilian, but reptilian, be proud of it, because there's a whole there's a lot of benefits. Earth is where reptilians are the most comfortable. So yeah, there's a lot of benefits. So That's something that you'll notice though with a reptilian or dark reptilian leader, is they just are not comfortable standing alone, back to being the adult, taking the responsibility, taking the hit. They're better in groups. Reptilians, an energy, if you want to think about being a reptilian, is like they want to be cool, you know, even if they're an adult. So look at Joe Biden. What did they call him? Joe Cool. He's like, yeah, man, like it seems cool, and it is, but it doesn't make for a good leader. You want a leader who will stand up and not look cool, who will be the adult in the room. And that, depending on what position a leader is, reptilian, especially dark reptilian, is put in, it can be deadly. You don't want your building inspector to be cool. Be like, 6 of 1, let's call it a night. You can't, there's certain professions where that doesn't fly. And this is where, you know, especially myself being Uriel, this is where my team, this is what they're pushing on, is getting people to be in their right positions, because it makes sense. And that's just a huge thing that's going on, is people are just not doing what they're cut out for. And they mentioned Donald Trump. You know, he's tough, but he's not cool. And that's one of the reasons why he's hated. But, you know, people hate Joe Biden for the opposite. So there you go. Okay, so we're an hour and 17 minutes into this, and now I'm going to get to the predictions. So I guess that was like more of the energy read. If anyone wants to timestamp this, they can. I think it's all important, but you know, I know how people are about specificity and time and all of that. So the predictions, Donald Trump, who's Pleiadian, Arcturian, and tall white. I cannot tell you 100%. Like I did tell you all, there was a movement to take Joe Biden out physically, and from what I heard and Spirit told me, there were 7 attempts, and they were all foiled. So just to let you all know, people who protect others, all kinds of agencies, groups, they watch mediums, they watch psychics, they look for trends, and they listen. A lot of these groups, and a lot of very high-powered, very successful people have they get mediumship reads. I've done it for people. They don't tell others. They go to astrologers. They go to all kinds of people, and they listen, and it works. So what I'm trying to say is, many of the groups that protect others, that's how I'll put it, watched these readings and actually, you know, I'll give an example. They protected President Biden 7 times. 7 times. Someone almost got close to him and took him out. That plan is still in motion. It's been predicted that someone's going to take him out, but you know, I've told you all before, the energy the way that it's been described to me is like 50% free will, 50% things that are fated. And it's tough for them to predict time, but what they can tell me is what is fated, you know, what people's exit points are, and then what people's intentions are. So just to let you all know, there is an intention still for some people to take out Joe Biden. Now, I don't want that to happen, even though, you know, I didn't speak favorably of him. I don't want that to happen. So it could be through now, it was more physical, but it could be through a substance. A substance could make him ill. And yeah. So there's that. And then with Trump, as of now, as of the energy that is growing, my team is saying that he's probably at this point going to win the presidency. That could change, but that could happen. And that's why they brought up Biden, because people were planning on taking him out, but it was prevented. And that's really also a part of what I do and a part of what messengers are for. It's not just to like, you know, pat ourselves on the back of like, oh, we're given messages. It's to help, and it's to prevent bad things from happening, and help good things happen. If Biden was taken out, many people think that Harris would be over the moon that not that he was taken out, but to take over. But she really doesn't want that position. They said if that happened, she would most likely, unless pressured a lot, buckle and step down, unless she was really sort of bullied into the position of being like, you know, you have to, and, you know, people trying to elevate her, you have to save us. But what my team is saying is that's not a position. President is not a position she would actually, she's not cut out for it, but she would actually not like it. She would not like that heavy weight of responsibility. No, I mean, not many people would, but I mean, I couldn't handle it for a second. I don't know about you guys, but you catch my drift. It's like they're talking to me too. So they're saying things and I'm talking to you. They love to throw out these expressions that make me laugh. My team loves lingo. And guys, sometimes they're talking to me and I will just say the strangest lingo. I often stop myself because I'm like, that's so corny. But anyway, they're like, yeah, you catch my drift. So 70s. So, okay, I already told them that to watch older predictions. And Jesus would like to remind you to rewatch the messages from Jesus because they're all still relevant. And I did put them in a playlist, but when you do lives on YouTube, those videos can get lost. And that's why they stopped having me do lives. They were fun. I might bring them back, you know, after I get out a lot of messages, but that's the only reason. I loved talking to you guys, but a lot of those messages got lost, and I might redo topics, but go deeper. So, let's see. Yeah, many things that we predicted in the past have happened. The crazy storms, the tornadoes in areas that haven't had tornadoes. So they're showing me this energy of like south to north, and it's interesting. How do I put this into words? Just like I said, the gangs have their tentacles out, meaning gangs from cities are trying to spread out as far as they can go doing crimes. They're pushing the boundary. They will go. The gangs will go now that they feel that they have the green light because of this energy of like, you're owed or you're not, things that happened in the past, you're justified in committing crimes. So they're spreading out their tentacles as far as they can go. They're showing me that energy. And along with it, it's the same energy with the weather. It's like all over the world, areas that are warming up, the crazy weather is moving into those areas. So areas that have never had flooding, and California that has the tidal waves, like it's because it's this, with the heating up, which is a dark energy because it comes from, it's like a La Nina, but also there is, and they hate to say this, but there is this global warming. And the reason why they're so reluctant to say that is because it's only part of the picture. And people are taking that and attacking others, like almost on a personal level, like don't eat steak, or, but just there, it's so black and white. And like I said, we're trying to stay in this gray area, and it's so they hate to talk about this global warming, but it's areas, think of worldwide areas that depending on where you live, it's like this. Australia is going like this. North America, the energy is going like this. It's like, now we have to be prepared for any kind of weather. They're logistically now, they're saying there could be, with these crazy weather patterns and the warming, like tornadoes there have been tornadoes in New Jersey, tornadoes in New York. There could be more, but there's going to be coastal flooding, as we've all seen, all over the world. But they're definitely showing me the United States. And so let me see what I wrote down. Yeah, tectonic shifts, global warming. It's just a stew, a combo of factors. And one thing that they're upset about is this blaming of America on global warming and America's carbon footprint. They're saying that that is not right, that is not correct, that is not fair. Americans do not have a larger carbon footprint than other civilized nations. They do not eat more red meat than other civilized nations. I'm looking at you, Japan, Tuscany, France, which is bizarre. I don't know the name of it. They're saying French organization that's trying to control like red meat, where red meat is a staple in France. And they're showing me this cognitive dissonance, this disconnect that many Americans have, especially young people who are full of enthusiasm and want to save the world, and many who they themselves don't like meat, so they're showing me like steak, like attacking people for eating steak, which is like this energy. And you know, Jesus has told me this, and they're saying anything that's an energy on the internet, not just with private groups with gangs, but anything that's said on the internet is going to come to it's going to become a reality. You know, instead of, life is going to imitate art or jokes, you know, something that can start as a flippant joke. You know, like we've seen this movie that I mean, I haven't seen it, I've only heard of it. It's a movie from the Obamas, and it's from this old internet joke that was thrown around, like in around 2020. I saw this, like back when I was on Facebook. You know, someone made this joke about white people like always being uncomfortable, or and you know, it went to like white tears, and now, you know, cut to end of 2023, it's a movie now. So they're saying that's how things are going. When one person makes a joke on the internet, or one person is criticizing, you know, people eating steak, which they're tying to like cows, which they're tying to the production of farm production and farm animals. But guys, you can't just pinpoint one thing. It's not just steak. Yes, American farming needs to be more environmentally friendly and just more humane. And it has been. It's hard to like not find grass-fed things. But anyway, rabbit hole. They're just all like telling me like it's how crazy it is. We have these influencers that are constantly going to In-N-Out Burger and things like this, and that's fine. And people are eating butter boards and drinking tons of lattes, and influencers going to France and saying, oh, you know, you gotta have the gotta try tartare, you know, steak tartare, and you know, you gotta have steak frites is the big thing. And there's this huge disconnect of like judging someone in America that wants a steak, but it's okay when they travel to Argentina or Japan or France or Tuscany. There's this huge disconnect, and there's a huge disconnect about America. Jesus has told me about the amount of carbon footprint we have, the amount of meat we eat. You know, this is in comparison. It's whatever we do, it's not worse than other civilized nations, and it's definitely better than many third world nations. Not that we're perfect, we are far from it, but we are not to be shamed and blamed if it's just not true, is what they're saying. Sorry, that was a tangent. So America, Jesus is saying, has reached its lowest quality of life in a long time. And you can look up quality of life and what that means, like the real meaning of it. But Jesus says, like many things, it's been well intentioned. People want to do good. And if you're a politician listening to this, or you want to open a business, understand that all of this, what people call wokeness and all of this drama, is many, many people at the core, not all of them. There is a dark reptilian energy, but many people at the core are trying to better themselves and better others. It's just getting, I talked about the dark reptilian energy twisting things. So, if you look at a lot of things in the woke movement of people like wanting a better environment, wanting to less consumerism, wanting better healthcare, this all sounds great, but the way that it has become is more outrageous violence, finger pointing, movements that aren't going anywhere. And some of it is good. Jesus says some of the noise made is like, we hear you. It's just not that productive. It's a little productive, but not that productive. So, so areas I wrote down to really be careful of are, it's like Nashville, Tennessee, with, they're saying, please be prepared. Be prepared for tornadoes in the United States. Like, figure out a plan. They would like you to figure out plans and try to do this without letting it make you feel scared or bad. Try to figure out weather plans. Like, what would you do with your family if this happened? What would you do if someone barged into your home? And another thing you can do, if you have found yourself in the bored safe category, is maybe learn how to defend yourself, learn some martial arts. My team isn't trying to incite violence. They're just trying to help you protect yourself. You want to protect yourself if someone storms into your home. We saw what happened in Gaza. We're seeing what's happening like in Beverly Hills, in Hollywood Hills. It's like people's homes, they're storming into people's homes. They'd like you to have a plan. I'm sounding like very New York, like get with the program. Upper Midwest, please be careful that there's going to be, and there's going to be more weather there that's just wacky, that's unexpected, because the warmer air is coming up. New Jersey, be careful. I told you already, New York, all of these coastal places with flooding to crazy storms, lightning. The Gulf Coast they said is going to be very active this year. Hurricanes, they might go like up into Tampa. You're going to start seeing tornadoes in Florida, places where they're not used to seeing it. England, they showed me England having some bad weather. Volcanic activity in Hawaii, Mexico. beware of earthquakes in 2024 in Mexico. They said California actually, because there was so much drama, they actually had one of their biggest, it was in Northern California, earthquakes in 2023. And they had told me that in my 2022 prediction, but they're saying California will have some, but it's not predicted to be as big as that one. And that was just big for them for a while, because they're showing me like things are moving, so it's not just going to be in California. That expect even earthquakes in other places, but it's like easing up the pressure, so it won't, there will be some in California, but it won't be just California or as huge as, you know, people have been anticipating, because many didn't, you know, things are just happening so fast that many didn't even really register that big one last year. So many of these crazy like car accidents we're seeing are due to substances and pranks, sabotage. Many people are hungover, and it's like a combination, like I said, of internet talk and gang talk of like who can outshining each other in a gang. Might be like, oh yeah, you know, Larry so-and-so. What are we doing, improv? When I did improv, people would always like come up with these weird names, like everyone was like Frank or Larry. They're saying just say Joe. Okay, so Joe so-and-so, yeah, you know him, he's in this gang, and he's the one that you know, ran from the police and hopped over 2 cars and hit a garage. They're like, oh, that's Joe. So that's how commonplace like this sort of talk is. And it's, you know, the imitation of GTA, imitation of other gangsters doing things, you know, they're saying, remember when you were young and you did crazy things, you know, psychologists say you don't have that prefrontal lobe, whatever. Jesus is just saying like young people do crazy things, and these are the crazy things that the young people are doing now. They're either done on purpose or because they think it's funny or cool. You know, let's go back to the cool thing, the reptilian, especially dark reptilian, just want to be cool. Well, it's a cool thing now to crash your car, to run from the police in a car, and to do it while you're, you know, let's do the drama while you're on something and you're just so messed up, and or you were coming down from something and you're just so messed up and you just flipped your car over. And hey, judge, I'm only 21. I didn't know what I was doing. And you're going to be hearing all these like, you know, my gas pedal was broken, or I worked 2 jobs and I fell asleep. And I don't know about you guys, but I've never heard of all of these cars. We'll get into Anne Heche another time. She wants to talk, get into all of these cars just going crazy. So now this is on top of, you got to think of this energy of like no adults in the room, people being cool. So what's happened? Our infrastructure is crumbling. And I've talked about this. I've been talking about this for years. Bridges, train tracks warped. And then they're saying that pranks, a lot of gang activity now, and just, you know, people who want to be in a gang and want to be cool. and want to imitate. There's not only do we have real infrastructure problems, but we have people putting things on train tracks, and they're saying they're going to be doing this in the subway, like just figuring out ways to derail trains. Oh God, I feel like people are going to be like, oh, she's such a fear monger, but I'm sorry, these are just things that are happening. Sorry, sometimes I write things, I can't tell what I wrote. Yeah, it's just a perfect storm. They're saying pun intended because there's just so much going on. Yeah, they're just saying everyone wants to be in charge, but nobody really wants to be the manager and be in charge, but they want the pay, they want the status. They want to say they're the boss, but they don't want people to come to them, to do the final inspection. There's a lack of organization now in labor, in manual labor and inspectors. Expect to see more accidents at work, construction sites, random accidents. And even though, I said it's a year of healing. So if you can manage to keep yourself safe, and you've done a lot of this, like, I guess, spiritual work, and you've listened and you've maneuvered, it's really a year. Pray to Archangel Raphael. Pray to him for more healing. And he's going along with what I said. He's like, if you pray to me and you're in the right space, I could, really help you. But you may find yourself in a bored, safe place. And but many of you have an opportunity this year to level up. If you've been doing a lot of spirituality and a lot of maneuvering, and a lot of listening to what's happening. They're saying examples of bad leadership that we're seeing and we're going to see, is like the bringing in of illegal immigrants, which Jesus is a huge fan of immigration, but legally, because without a plan, it's very cruel. It's very cruel to allow that to happen and then not have a plan for people so that they can succeed, so they can be healthy. Very cruel to families and children. So again, that's something that any adult could see, like, oh, we have to do this properly. But a young, not well thought out mentality, I don't want to say young because it's like ageism, but it's like a immature, or not everyone can follow through and knows what will happen, like follows this to this to this to this. But many people are accusing people who would like to have proper immigration of just being against immigration. So it's crazy. And what's happening is, like, someone like Joe Biden, who's supposed to be the adult in the room, who's supposed to use all of his knowledge, all of like his strategic planning, which he's supposed to have, which anyone in power is supposed to have, would know, like, if you did this, this will happen. And unfortunately, he's just trying to be cool, to be liked, to not be the bad guy. And we're seeing what's happening because of that. Our government is not addressing this issue, not taking accountability. There's all of these emotional pleas. People are like quoting the Statue of Liberty as if this is like the same as that movement. It's not. That was done in very organized fashion. It was a different time. There were systems set into place, and it's very sad because we need, I'm talking about all of this stuff that's happening with crime and crumbling infrastructure. And we do need a reorganization of farms. And who would be good with all of this? A lot of first generation people go into we have a lot of people from India, first generation in New York, that they've been grouping together, and they're traffic cops. And that's like a bridge. And so it's all of these things could be taken care of if there was just some organization. We need farm workers, we need construction workers, and a lot of these jobs are good for people who don't speak English yet. And we also need we need immigrants. We just need an organization of immigrants. So Jesus is saying it's a humanitarian crime to not organize people. It's fake help, no follow through, cruel, being too lax, which equals cruel. And think of your own life, not having good boundaries, being too lax ends up being cruel down the road, enabling. It's like we have this huge, how is the dark reptilian energy coming through? It's coming through by enabling. So anybody who still has a narcissist in their life, anyone who is enabling crime, illegal immigration, ends up being that sort of enabler. It ends up being more cruel. It's actually giving people enough rope to hang themselves with. And I've been talking about this since 2020, about how things are just going to erupt into a crazy level. And hopefully, I can feel it. My team has said that most of you watching are protected. You've seen the writing on the walls. You've heard this. But there are many people who aren't protected. And what they're ending up doing, they're showing me the guy who had this long rap sheet, who they didn't put in handcuffs, which they used to do because that just makes sense when people get emotional. So they stopped doing that. The guy who jumped over the desk, he's a perfect example. They let him do so many crimes that he had no idea that he was actually going to get sentenced. He just said what he had normally said to get out of things. And this is not all his fault. Yes, he committed the crimes, but when you make people think that things are okay, of course you don't want to put a young criminal, like, oh, they got involved with the wrong people, did this one crime, we're gonna, put them in jail for their whole adult life. It's not that. This guy and many people have these long rap sheets, and it's just one, Jesus said it's one mistake after another. Like, letting him have this long rap sheet, letting him get out of responsibility, and then letting him go to the court without cuffing him, giving him the sentence. And it was actually more cruel, because it's just this energy, the judge being deadpan, giving him this sentence, him not expecting it, him not being in cuffs. And then as Archangel Uriel, I just see this also, I talked to Jesus about it. It's like, I'm really into people following their mission, and that guy could have been an incredible, track athlete. And I was just like, oh God, I'm sorry. But I really actually mean it. Like, oh God, yeah, it's just so sad. What an athlete to be able to do that. And then they're just using this as an example. They drew my attention to this. Is like, now next time he's in court, it's over the top. He's got like a muzzle and, cuffed, and just looks crazy. His eyes are like, it's humiliating, when, he should have gotten smaller sentences for what he did. You do time, you do something else, you do more time. So they're just saying how, if this is a situation of it's cruel to be, it's kind to be cruel. They're singing that song, cruel to be kind in the right man. See, they sing and joke around and stuff, and I have to interpret it to you guys. So it's like kind to be cruel. Yeah, we can see how that is not kind in the end. Now that guy has, the judge was hurt, 2 people were hurt. He was physically hurt. Now he's going to be away for a really long time. Then there's the public. Yeah. Is that better than sentences as they? No. But someone who doesn't know the law, like, I don't know all these things. They're telling me, and then they have me watch. But I guess we'd be called like lay people. Like, we don't know. We're just, unfortunately, many of us grew up watching NBC, ABC. We trusted like what they're saying, okay, and what's going on with the government. It's like, okay, everyone's doing their thing. We don't know everything about everything. So, again, if you are they're saying so many things, running for office, into politics, starting a business. They want you to try to understand that most people are coming from the right place. I do talk a lot about this dark reptilian energy affecting people, but they want people to understand that when you see groups of protesters, not all of them, but especially you just see a group of young kids, or you see people wanting to be easy on immigration or easy on crime and stuff, and they're not personally affected by it. Try to understand that they think that they're being a good person. Try to keep that in mind. A lot of these people who are making these policies and decisions, they actually know that the outcome of those decisions, so we can judge them. They should be judged, but try to understand, just like, you know, I guess the best way to put it would be like the woke crowd. It's hard to categorize people, but just keep that in mind, because Jesus is saying what politicians should be, many of them should be doing, is talking to people at their level and understanding where they're coming from. And people also, you know, on the internet is how we communicate. Instead of just screaming at someone like, you voted for this, just being like, you know, instead being like, okay, look what's happening. How can we meet in the middle? How can we stop this from happening? Because Jesus is saying people aren't getting anywhere by pointing fingers. You know, when there's a school, I can't say these words. It's so weird that we can't say these words on the internet that are actually happening in real life, and people can say them on the news. I don't get it. But, you know, pew, pew, in school, like, as soon as that happens, people are like, you know, it's the Republicans and they love their guns, and we're not getting anywhere. And as soon as, like, you know, protesters all band together and then block a bridge, or, you know, crime gets out of control, they're like, oh, it's the Democrats. And I mean, that's all just partially true. So they're getting really heated. But anyway, on a positive note, it sounds crazy, but it's actually an opportunity to meet in the middle. And I'm going to make videos about each, like, thing that's going on and how Jesus feels about it, like each subject. I've already done it with many subjects, and you can look that up. Oh, and Jesus is saying, when you look up, you know, I list celebrities and what their galactic influences are, if they're Pleiadian, reptilian, or famous people. He really would like you to look in people's eyes, cover the expression, the mouth and everything. Look in their eyes and compare their eyes, like a dark reptilian's eyes, to, you know, someone who's very galactic. And that will help you sort of see that too. Okay, moving on. Yeah, we're gonna go through everything in other videos, because none of these groups are perfect. We're gonna break down each point. Just a reminder of some people, I don't like to predict when people will pass, but a couple people who have exit points this year, it's the Pope, Biden, so someone who might step down. King Charles is thinking about it, retiring, because he has faith in his son. He thinks it would be good for the country. He's just thinking about it right now, but that might happen in 2024. He just thinks that Kate and William would make better leaders. And China still be poking at Taiwan. Many of us have all forgotten about the true origin of COVID-19, Jesus is saying, yes, there have been similar things made in labs, but this actually was from wet markets. Has it been thought about, and is it thought about in the future of using biowarfare in all governments? Yes. But in that case, it was the wet market, and those need to be ended. That got lost in the mix because it got too political. And so Jesus is saying some things are conspiratory, but it's because there's a realness in it. There's a truth in it. Like there are, there is biowarfare being made, but that in particular was not it. So you can see Jesus is saying how the dark reptilian energy gets into things and confuses the matter. People call it the plandemic, and there is that could happen. That has been thought about, but it wasn't in that case. But Jesus just wants to remind you that it was used by many people to get what they want, manipulate, abuse. So Jesus has said before, and this is just him restating it, we're not there yet as a culture, but the vulnerable should have been protected. And it's, like a very strong flu. But Jesus is saying not everyone needs the shot. But people who are vulnerable and have a weak, they know the kind of weak immune system that needs it. That's just a reiteration of what has happened. I've made a video about that already, and unfortunately, how do I put this? There were, in certain circumstances, not everywhere, but some people with questionable morals, mostly dark reptilians, or influenced by them, let's just say pulled the plug on some people before it was their time during that COVID-19 crisis. And if you are wondering, I do believe my channel is shadow banned already, so let's not worry about that. There are some words though that I really don't want to get, like, there's more than shadow ban, there's also like a strike and things like that. So so they're saying, like, there's this idea, there's what is going on right now is, that was an exaggerated reaction to COVID-19. It's because the real reaction is, like, we're just not mature enough now to protect our weak. The same with protecting people with, like, autism, disabilities. We're not there in how to, like, properly do it yet. Okay, moving on. There will be more protests, crazy protests, riots, especially if Trump wins. Even like when he is able to get on the ballot, right, there could be protests that turn into riots. He may pardon people, like the Marine who, you know, prevented that crime on the subway. Anyone from him, the cop who went to jail with George Floyd. You know, they just showed me this, like him maybe pardoning people and riots there, which can turn into lockdowns, which can turn into curfews. And there, you know, there might be some drama the other way if it's Biden, but like, you know, just they don't want me to go there because they're predicting right now that it's going to be Trump. So if that changes, I'll come on and talk about it. Another thing, if they're saying if Trump gets elected, they're showing me this idea, and I touched upon this before, of, oh yeah, I made a video about what Jesus recommended happening with the peace treaty with Israel and Palestine, so you can watch that video. So Jesus would like to remind you that, so now we're talking about Israel and Palestine, that there are 4 different groups in Palestine. There's Hamas, their own military, their government, and then there's the Palestinian people. And so these 4 groups aren't in unity, and that's another issue amongst a lot of issues, but they just want to remind you of that, why that country in itself is also struggling. It doesn't mean they're not, you know, the other things are not there, the other problems. But like I said in that video, if Netanyahu had called a conference and asked for assistance, like, we don't know what to do, had asked the Palestinian president, like, we don't know what to do, like, this is crazy, Hamas just attacked our civilians, what do we do? They could have come to an agreement then, but that didn't happen, even though Jesus said that they were trying to send these messages, like, you know, don't get triggered, don't act, don't, you know, calm down. They didn't hear the messages, or heard it, but just got, like we said, overreacted because of past history and the gruesomeness. But anyway, if Trump is elected, they're saying he will help with Israel and Palestine, and people would say, why, how? Because he would come in like bossy, and that's not always bad. The USA still has power. He could come in and just be like, look, y'all need to cut it out. And that they want that. They want to stop this. They want someone to come in and do that. That's why it's happened in the past. Not just to them, to other countries like you know, and Jesus just showed me, like, you know, this is happening in schools, like, kids fight, but in the past, more often, like, other kids would step in as the friends and be like, oh, okay, stop, and people would walk away. But now egos are getting so big that it's like, this person's fighting this person, and no one stop. Not only do people not stop them, but people are just, it's like mayhem. And kids are imitating the energy of adults, and it's just a lot of ego. And where does the ego come from? The dark reptilian energy. So Jesus is saying Trump knows this, and although he looks like an a-hole to a lot of people, he would be the one to step in and say, stop. And then they'd say, okay, like, well, we'll try it, or something like that, and egos would be spared. And you know, it's already happened before in the past, so Jesus is saying that needs to happen again. And the same with that goes with Ukraine. And Jesus is saying last spring there was an opportunity for Biden to do that, and that almost happened, but it didn't. So that was, you know, they said that that was probably going to die out last spring, but many people can't see it, but that war is dying out. It's not over, but they said it was starting to die out in the spring, and it slowly did start dying out. They said Biden could have helped. You can watch my old videos about Biden's role in that. So another reason why I'm wearing this navy sweatshirt, I didn't fully explain, I explain in every video, is, you know, I'm heavy Pleiadian. I have a connection to the Navy in other lifetimes. I'm part of the Galactic Federation, which is spearheaded by Archangel Michael, who is a very strong influence on navies all over. I'm Archangel Uriel, which is tied to the ocean. I'll make videos about that, but that's why I wear this. I'm getting warm. Just kidding. That's my little joke. But so the reason I bring this up, and I know this is getting long, but they want me to say all this stuff. The reason I'm bringing up the Galactic Federation is there should be a worldwide movement. So in other videos, I've talked about the Galactic Federation. One of their big issues is child S trafficking. So I don't know if I can say that, but I did. One way that the public can stop this, and I know this is just going to sound very extreme, and here we are talking about the gray area, but not now, not when it comes to children. So a big way for people to stop this would be no rhymes with corn videos. I don't know why. Not really supposed to say that word, but we'll just call it corn. No corn. No sex for sale at all of any kind. Nothing. If people just stopped going to strip clubs, just stopped and said, you know, this is they understand how this all ties together with crime and with trafficking. If people just stopped all of that, because all of that, even like, you know, they said even Instagram, you know, that spam that you get is related to that. All of this is related to trafficking, especially now in 2024. So spread the word. If we want that to stop, you stop all of that behavior. Stop all of that behavior, because it all is tied into trafficking. And there's no other easy way to put it. I'll just leave that there for now. Another prediction: Australia, flooding, mudslides, political upheaval. I know people wanted me to do other countries, so I talked to Jesus about it. Political upheaval, divide, more corruption, more agendas. There's going to be fights there. Ireland is going to have violent events, dealing with immigrants, people claiming racism, a refusal to assimilate, and then, which could, there is some racism, but this is going to, on both sides, but this is just going to cause more drama, more racism, and it could get very violent in Ireland. And this is, you know, there is a global agenda. This is really hard to say. There are, and this is not everyone, there are people in Islam that are trying to start a worldwide movement, and they're bringing on anyone they can. So, you know, back to 2020, that victim energy was starting. So, you know, like I said, these groups are joining together. They they have gotten and could still get more of the BLM. And so this is just becoming a very big snowballed movement. And it could get to crazy levels. But they're crazily saying if Trump is elected, that's going to upset the apple cart, and one of his purposes is to, you know, he's Pleiadian, Arcturian, tall, white. He's not always right, but he's a truth teller, and he's changes energy, and Jesus is saying he's what will be needed to stop all of this. That many people don't understand how this is brewing, how this is spiritual warfare. And this is not saying like everyone who was for BLM is, you know, dark reptilian, and everyone who is for Islam. No, it's just the darkness of the groups are all coming together, and there's going to be violence in Ireland, England, France, in Germany. There's going to be outward, obvious violence, and there's going to be grape of these violent groups against nationals or people of origin. So these would be things going on at the same time, kidnapping, and just integration, but for dark purposes, like grooming, dating, you know, finding young girls, bringing them in, pretending to date, giving them substances, and bringing them into a darkness in order to take over that way. And expect more fights in Canada against Trudeau and what he's trying to make happen. He's got that dark reptilian leadership energy. People are going to be fighting against him. I already said this before. These were openings for the dark reptilian energy. JFK, 9/11, 2008, the crisis and the presidency, CERN, low vibes, private worship of darkness, of what have you, the devil, what is it called? There's so many words. They're showing me the Mexican skull with the flower, like, I don't know the names of everything. They're just showing me a bunch of pictures. Like, it's like, there's a lot of things that are the dark reptilian energy that many people, my candle just like lit up when I said that. They do that all the time. So, you know, it's this worship. Many people are worshiping the dark reptilian energy. Some people know they are and some people don't. So Satanism is on the rise, and some people think that's a joke. Some people are like, oh, you know, maybe they were atheists before, and they're showing me a lot of people who want to be like tarot readers, who want to be mediums. It's getting more popular, and they're not having good luck. So they're like, well, you know, they don't fully believe in God or Jesus, so this group. So they're like, well, let me just ask Satan, and it's become a joke, like, you know, and it's not a joke, guys. It's not a joke. Many people are getting in over their heads, and they're already dark reptilian, or they're reptilian, and you know, Jesus is saying that they may have a temporary gain, but that's a video for another day. So Jesus, I'm just about to wrap this up. So Jesus wanted me to talk about some things that I really like, almost like, you know, I don't sponsor anything. I'm not doing a commercial, but Jesus says that a lot of people don't really thank what they like don't admit what they use all the time, what they really love. So he wanted me to talk about one of my favorite things, which gets a bad rap. It's my iPhone. I'm filming on it. I love it. I use it for everything. And so he just wanted me to mention that. And then here's a candle I wanted to show you guys. It's been lighting all day. It is actually frankincense and myrrh, which many of you know. And I'm connected to this, the three wise men who, they were mediums, and they were told that Jesus was coming, and they were told to bring frankincense, myrrh, and gold. So gold is a high resonating, very silver is too. I'm wearing silver earrings. They're like 100%. So Jesus wants to remind you too that gold is a very high vibing material. That's why it's always popular. And, you know, many of you are into stones, and, you know, I'll talk about different crystals and stuff at another time. But just wants to remind you that gold and silver are precious and high vibing, and wearing them is high vibing. And the three wise men who were mediums were told to bring frankincense, myrrh, and gold. And it's because the team, you know, when Jesus was born, to protect him, it was ceremonial. And this is from Two Goats, this candle. Jesus wanted me to tell you that. Very nice candle. So just like, look at me sitting back. So just like we do now with our crystals, some of you have pendulums, crystals, runes. The same applied back then when he was born. Why did God talk to the three wise men? Why did God tell them to bring frankincense, myrrh, and gold? Because it was protecting Jesus. Like right now I'm lighting this candle. It not only helps them talk to me, whatever they like, the dark reptilian energy doesn't like. So they were protecting Jesus by lighting frankincense and myrrh, and by giving him gold. They were protecting him, and they did protect him for as long as possible. The star seeds, the galactic beings, and his star family protected him for as long as they could. So it seems that the dark reptilian energy won, but it didn't, because I will talk about that at another time. But as we can see, the spirit of Jesus and all of these souls, it just goes on. So he was not stopped. Okay, so with that, oh, they said yes. I've already said this. Taylor Swift is in that group of worshiping dark reptilian energy. And I'm sorry, I know that'll upset some people. So moving along, they want you to stay safe, avoid dark energy, be creative. If you don't like your job, you don't like your workplace, you don't like the people you work with, look for another job while you have a job. They want to remind you, you may already know this, but Jesus is saying most companies nowadays worldwide promote from outside. So you could be with that company for 10 years, but they're actually putting out on the internet the job you want, like to, you know, be in charge or whatever, get a promotion. I never worked in a thing like that, but that most companies are promoting from the outside, and a lot of them do this sort of divide and conquer thing, and they make people think that there's promotions from within, and they're not. So if you would like the type of job that maybe someone above you has, you've been somewhere for a while, they're saying just go look for that, but unfortunately it might be somewhere else. It's probably somewhere else. They're saying take a risk. Don't get too cozy anywhere. You know, if you're treated well and you're happy, that's a whole nother story, but they're saying a lot of companies, places, offices, churches, he's showing me everything all at once, like schools. There's just bullying in every area. You could get tired of this one thing. You may want to. Jesus is saying a lot of people don't have vacation time. He's really recommending, this all goes together, working someplace, saving up some money, taking time off, traveling, getting another job. And he's saying there's a lot more jobs out there than many think there is, and there's more opportunities. He's saying just be confident, especially if you're a star seed, you've been doing something for a while. He's saying you most likely, if you're watching this, you know what you're doing. Be in charge of it. Play around with your employment. Just showing me just randomly like applying for things, trying things. Saying most jobs pay around the same, give or take, 10, 20,000. That sounds like a lot more, 20, but like that would be like if you move up. Anyway, I'm trying to just whittle this down. Saying just try things, like while you're starting to feel uncomfortable. He's saying oftentimes if you're not feeling appreciated, or there is such thing as adult bullying, you're not happy, whatever, you don't feel like there's growth, whatever that is, and that there's a chicken egg type scenario, that sometimes like it's time for you to move on but you don't, so then you get bullied. And that's like an energy of like, it's really hard to put into words. It's like you're supposed to move on and you don't, so it's like a push. It's not what many people think, that it's a direct push from this group or your higher group. It's not. It's more like it's an opportunity for a dark reptilian energy to come in because you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So Jesus is reminding us that when we're not doing what we're supposed to do, or especially if we're doing anything harmful to ourselves or others, that's an invitation. That old expression, if you have to invite a vampire in. Stagnation, any things we do against ourselves or against others, that's an invitation for dark reptilian energy to come in. And this is for everybody, no matter how much like spiritual work you've done, that's an invitation. And I'll make more videos about that. So he wants you to continue, though, like to still do a good job for yourselves, for clients, for the companies, or if you're, for patients, for projects, etc. Even while you might be in transition, don't let it negatively affect real people. Yeah, these are his final messages for 2024. I'll come on and do more videos, but like just in this message, don't get too attached. In general, this goes back to the enabling thing. It's hard enough for ourselves to make good decisions and do right, but he's saying don't get too attached to other people in organizations and even personal relationships, because there's an expression where Jesus said, love your neighbor. And he did say that at times, but he never said, love your neighbor is like not really like love, like you would love your spouse. It's more like goodwill to your neighbor. But it by no means taking abuse. And he never said to fully trust everyone. He said it's hard enough for us to trust ourselves to make the right decisions. You know, it's very hard for me to put into words, which is why his words have been misconstrued, because they're not black and white. So it's like, this year, you know, he would just like you to try to do right by others, try to care for them, expect the best, but don't give your full trust to, you can't put your full trust in someone else's hands. That's crosses the line into enabling, which we talked a lot about before, which is a big theme, which goes back to Archangel Raphael, who is a healer. And this may seem to some people like it's all over the place, but I'm really just there trying to show you all energies and connections. And there is a difference, and this is where numerology comes in. There is a difference when years change, and there's a difference for you, but these are the messages that they're trying to share with you right now. And as always, pray to Jesus. And I want to thank my whole team, thank the Pleiadians, Arcturians, Tall Whites, and especially this year, if you'd like to talk to someone on the other side, pray to Archangel Eric Medhus. And for your healing, I'm going to be corny, your healing journey, pray to Archangel Raphael. This is his big year. And especially if you really would like good health this year, and that's all kinds of health, pray to Archangel Raphael. I'm going to pray on your behalf. Archangel Raphael, please help us all heal physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. All of us. Thank you. Thank you guys. I'll be on soon.